Get out. Get out. Let us all. There we go. Drop the gun!
A police cruiser loses control tearing through a residential neighborhood at nearly 100 miles an hour. But the person behind the wheel isn't a cop. It's the suspect who was arrested just 3 minutes earlier, still in handcuffs.
All right, just sit tight, all right?
In another state, a bullet cuts through the air in a gas station parking lot. It's about to pierce straight through an officer's femoral artery. But there's something in his pocket, a small metal object, a coin. 2 cases, 2 states, 2 situations no one could have predicted, both captured entirely on police cameras. Footage doesn't lie. It only records the truth, no matter how insane that truth might be. How does a handcuffed man climb through a window barely 12 inches wide? Why doesn't a bullet kill the man it should have killed? And what happens when a shot officer continues commanding the scene like nothing even happened? The answers are in this footage, and they're stranger than anything you could imagine. This is what really happened. Case 1. Rothschild, Wisconsin, the impossible escape. On April 25, 2021, in Rothschild, Wisconsin, officers were dispatched to a report of a man breaking into cars along Lawrence Avenue. When police arrived at 4:41 a.m., they found a stolen vehicle out of Wausau, parked on the curb driver's door, open engine still running. Officers checked a nearby home with its garage door wide open. The homeowner confirmed something was wrong. The bathroom door, normally left open, was shut. Officers ordered the person inside to come out. Jonathan Bishop stepped out with his hands raised and was taken into custody.
What's going on? Why?
All right, just sit tight, all right?
While police were securing the scene and speaking with witnesses, a Rothschild Patrol SUV was suddenly seen rolling eastbound on Lawrence. Bishop, still handcuffed, had squeezed through the small partition window, separating the front and back seats, slipped into the driver's seat, and drove off with the police cruiser. Dashcam footage showed the cruiser barreling through neighborhood streets, cutting across backyards and plowing through multiple fences. Inside the vehicle were a patrol rifle and a shotgun. Officers began a pursuit, but quickly terminated it for safety reasons. The stolen cruiser was later found crashed in the backyard of another home in Rothschild. With the help of a K-9 unit, officers tracked Bishop hiding inside rolls of insulation in a homeowner's attic. He was arrested a second time at 7:26 a.m. on Lewis Avenue.
He will bite you! Show me your hand! Show me your...
Bishop was later sentenced to 5 years in prison for vehicle theft and escape. Fortunately, no officers or civilians were injured during the incident. And now we leave Wisconsin. Case 2. On July 3, 2018, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 2 officers from the gang unit were patrolling near the Tradewinds Hotel when they spotted John Terry Chapman Jr. stepping out from behind a wall. The moment Chapman saw police, he changed direction. Officers approached to ask for ID, and Chapman said he didn't have any. He asked if he was free to go, then got into a van and drove off. Once officers allowed it.
What's up, girl? Where's your man at? He's inside? Well, whose car is that?
My mom's. I know it has her wrong tag on it.
Yeah, it's got the wrong tag on
Yeah,
it.
it's her escape. She just got 2 different.
Officers Danny Bean and Michael Cowiesel ran the van's license plate and discovered it didn't match the vehicle. They later found the van parked at a Quick Trip gas pump on 4950 South Harvard Avenue. Chapman's girlfriend Chelsea walked out of the store and pointed officers toward the van, confirming he was inside.
We get to ID everyone that's in the car. You don't have an idea? That's fine, man. What's your name? You don't have a name? Junior?
Simba.
Junior, what's your last name?
Officers explained the traffic violation and again asked for identification. Chapman repeatedly refused challenging the officer's authority at every step. Sergeant Mike Parsons arrived to assist carrying a less lethal pepper ball launcher. Parsons warned Chapman that if he continued refusing to comply, he would deploy the pepper balls. Chapman still wouldn't exit the vehicle. Parsons fired approximately 5 rounds into the van.
Get out! Get out! Pepper ball, pepper ball, pepper ball.
Less than 10 seconds later, Chapman drew a .32 caliber handgun and opened fire, squeezing off 4 rounds. 1 bullet struck Parsons in the right thigh. 2 officers dragged Parsons out of the line of fire. Officer Cowiesel returned fire, hitting Chapman in the neck and chest.
I see one hand though. I don't see a second hand, Sergeant. I see a hand on the floor too.
Despite being wounded, Parsons continued directing the scene. Officers set up ballistic shields and contained the van. Officer Con Erickson, a tactical medic, evaluated Parsons' injury. He worried the bullet might have fractured the femur or hit the femoral artery, but saw no signs of shock or major swelling. When medics cut Parsons' pant leg to inspect the wound, a coin fell out, a Navy challenge coin Erickson had given Parsons months earlier. The coin was bent and misshapen from the impact. The bullet had struck the coin in Parsons' pocket before entering his thigh. Instead of punching straight through his leg, the coin deflected the round sideways, changing its path. Officers believe that coin saved Parsons' life. Chatman was taken for medical treatment and later booked into jail. Parsons recovered and eventually returned to duty. One of the officers who pulled Parsons to Safety Officer Daniel Bishop is actually Parsons' wife. They've been married 26 years and both continue to serve with the Tulsa Police Department. Following the shooting, Chatman was prosecuted in both federal and state courts. In federal court, he received 40 years in April 2019 for being a felon in possession of a gun and ammunition obstruction of justice and using a firearm during a violent crime. In state court, he was sentenced in January 2020 to a total of 105 years 40 years for shooting Sergeant Parsons, 30 years for shooting Officer Bean, 30 years for shooting Officer Cowizel, 5 years for felon in possession of a firearm. Chatman remains incarcerated. Parsons and Bishop continue serving in Tulsa. In 2019, Parsons was honored by the National Rifle Association as Law Enforcement Officer of the Year. Police successfully contained an extremely dangerous situation without any civilian casualties. Two cases, two outcomes that couldn't be more different. Bishop steals a police cruiser, destroys property, puts an entire neighborhood at risk. No one gets hurt. 5 years in prison. Chatman fires 4 rounds, hits an officer, nearly kills him. A total of 145 years. So the question is, are those sentences fair? Is 5 years too light for someone who could have caused a mass casualty disaster, but didn't? Is 145 years too heavy for someone who pulled the trigger once and struck an officer? Or is that exactly the message the justice system wants to send? There isn't a simple right or wrong answer here, but they're questions worth thinking about. Where do you stand? Drop your thoughts below. And if you want more cases that make you question what justice really means, let me know. Because sometimes the footage shows us the truth, but justice, that's something we decide.